Hi, this is John McClain. You're listening to the Puck Nuts.
It's time to lace up those skates and talk about hockey with Walt, Bry, Ming, and Sunday Jeff. These are the Puck Nuts.
Hello and welcome to Puck Nuts, dealing with the New Jersey Devils and the NHL. My name is Ming Chen.
Ryan Johnson.
Sunday Jeff.
Walt.
Happy Walt.
No, I'm a little happier.
Should be.
What are we going to talk about this week? Run down the whole agenda.
Okay, Ming has passed out notes.
Bullet points.
I mean, to every member of the Puck Nuts received these notes today, and
I'm going to eBay mine when I'm done.
Bullet points. There's like Ming has made an effort to be like, this train is not getting derailed ever again. I'm giving these guys notes, and it's hockey talk or no talk. It seems like, right, Ming?
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it on the right track.
He had because he cuts it, so he sat through that Booty Time commercial and said no more. You said no more, Ming.
I tried to make myself sound as not stupid as possible. Unfortunately, it didn't work.
For what? Why would you think you sound stupid?
I just a lot of pauses, a lot of dumbfounded. You know, you couldn't see it, but a lot of dumbfounded looks.
No, I wasn't talking about your stumbling and bumbling. I was talking more about I was talking about like when we start like goofing and laughing, and it was really past when Q was on, it reverted to us almost like it was not even a hockey show.
Yeah, so we're trying to get it back.
Wind's gone. You got some bullet points.
Let's get back up to number one.
Who's the bullet points aimed at? Who needs the bullet points the most out of it?
I thought they were for me, to be honest with you. Just
I was looking at. I was thinking maybe somebody else needed the bullet points.
Jeff.
No,
Sunday Jeff.
not Sunday Jeff. Jeff doesn't get derailed. Who the fuck derails us constantly?
I think that's
shit in a fucking handy bag. Or something.
That's his job on the show, though. That's how we get the crossover audience.
All right, okay, you're right.
I know. I don't see any bullet points involving bags of dog shit being thrown on people.
Brett Favre's cock.
That's on the second page.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna follow you. Let's see what happens if the people like the new structured
The new
nuts.
80% less Bry.
No. You feel to chime in whenever you want.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try. We're recording this. We're trying something different because we're trying to get more timely with the release of the show. So we're recording much later in the week in hopes that when people download this, that we're not a week or 10 days behind what's going on.
Right. That way,
So we just saw last night. Sunday, Jeff, what would you say was the best game of the Devils season so far?
So far. Best played game. Solid 60 minutes yesterday.
Who are you impressed with the most?
Again, Arnott. Arnott stepped up again. He showed, he had the goal. He's been the most consistent player so far. But they all played good. I thought the defense played well.
The most consistent player?
He's got the most goals.
The dude's like minus 10, isn't he?
almost. I think Arnott is a -7, I believe.
He was been on the ice for almost how many goals against this year, though? I mean, I'm not saying that, but to say he's the most consistent player, I would gotta think that guy Tamarina is the most consistent player.
I feel like Sunday Jeff is derailing us.
He's only been in what? How many games?
Who?
Tamarina. 2 games?
All of them. Hasn't he? Hasn't he played all of them?
No, I don't think
he's played in almost all the games, and he's been fantastic.
Wouldn't you? I mean, all right, but I'm not gonna. Okay, you're on a fact. Right? You're gonna tell me that you didn't think that like Brodeur was like
Brodeur always plays well though.
Spellbanged.
He always plays well, but where is that Brodeur during the regular part of the season if he's not playing Montreal? He plays Montreal. He always plays well at Montreal. Brodeur always plays well in front of his home crowd.
Doesn't that make you shake your head and go like, wow, why can't this guy play like this every night? He was so in control in that Montreal game. I mean, he was directing pucks into the corner like a magician last night. I was super impressed with Brodeur.
But did you see the statistics at the end of the game? How many block shots they had? They had a lot more block shots, and there were shots that never got through.
It doesn't seem he gives up a bad goal against Montreal.
No, it doesn't.
Though.
Not when he's there. At home, a different story. When he's
Sunday Jeff, man, you got a lot of fucking vinegar in your fucking in your.
You want the truth? I'm giving you the truth. They won. Yeah, there's one game they won. Let's
But I'm
take it
just
from
saying,
there.
But you're not. Well, how do they got to follow it up?
They played 60 minutes of hockey yesterday, and what happened? They won the game. That's how you got to play the game. The second period didn't fall apart. They didn't crumble. They played solid. The defense played. The only.
But did you ever feel like you were like not nervous about that game? No.
No, believe it or not, yesterday the way they were playing, I wasn't really nervous at all.
I have
was
to disagree,
second
man.
period, different story. When that second period started, it was
when
different story.
Tamarina scored that third goal, I exhaled a little bit, but the whole time I'm thinking like, oh my god, I just wasn't. I'm not sure, and I'm not confident yet.
What did you think of the line changes? The line.
I thought everybody played well. There's nobody you could single out that didn't play well last night. What'd you think, Ming?
Yeah, I saw a lot, good forechecking. Saw a lot of sticks getting involved. Just a lot of just getting in front of the shots. Like, defense.
He was at a Turkish bathhouse, not the Devils game.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
Lots of sticks, lots of shots. Sorry, I was going to derail you.
Just the forwards just seemed to forecheck a lot more. None of this waving sticks haphazardly. They actually reached for the puck.
Who was the new guy that got in last night?
It was Olivier Magnan. Grenier.
well.
Yeah, he did play well too.
Did you see him step up and take the body?
Yeah, he did play well.
A lot of.
First game?
I think there's Talinder and some of the other defensemen could probably had to take notice. As the rookie comes in and takes the body, and it makes a world of difference.
I thought he played better last night too, Winder.
He did. Like I said, nobody played bad last night. I felt, but Brian, you didn't even know that they played last night, right?
They played? Well, I just found out a few minutes ago. You know what, though? I think if you go back and listen to the first couple episodes of Puck Nuts, Sunday Jeff, you're crushing on that Arnott guy. You talk him up a lot, doesn't he? He always has nice things to say about
He's
him.
got the most goals on the team so far. With the talent they have, would he have the most goals on the team?
Season he didn't, though.
No, it is weird though. You have been
I tell you what, though, his
Arnott
name's being called a lot, and it's well, you
centric.
saw Kovalchuk. Does Kovalchuk do too much with the puck?
He gets
last
all
night?
dreamy.
He tries too much with the puck, though.
That's his game, though. I mean,
But he's got to get away from that, though. He's not in Atlanta anymore. I think that he thinks he's that position here, that he thinks he's the only one that can score. He has multiple talented players on his team. And I think it's going to take him a while to get away from. You can't really change his play, but I think he's got to understand or recognize a little bit more that there's other people on his team, that he's not really, the pressure's not all on him anymore. As it was in Atlanta. He was
there's still plenty of pressure on a guy who's making $100 million a year, and you're like, come on, man, we need you to perform every night. There's always going to be pressure on the guy, but
that is his game, though, to just take over and be a one-man show.
When I went to the game on Friday, me and Suzanne, he took a lot of slap shots. That is not a preferred shot, though, is it? Slap shot?
For him, he can. That they call him a sniper. That's it. He can get in from anywhere on the ice.
Isn't that a low ratio shot, though? The slap shot, isn't it more about finesse?
Depends on where it's taken from and who's in front. A slap shot will get it through, but it takes longer to wind up. Players can get their sticks in front of it, their bodies in front of it. So, it depends on where you're taking it from and who's taking it. Obviously,
his usually hits the net and not the glass most of the time.
Yeah, he's also playing out his position right now, right? He's on right wing. You think they should move him back to left?
I think he's so talented he could. It
doesn't matter.
He can play whatever. I mean, there's no.
Still,
need
there's
to,
that comfort level that you have your set in your mind.
What's that?
I said he's with Eliash, so he should be able to.
Why is his name pronounced Eliash, by the way? There's no H in that name.
Elias?
No, like Elias.
Well, he's Czech, so I guess
he's not from Canada?
No, he's Czech.
He was a nerdy looking guy when we went to see him. He looked bookwormy to me.
Eliash.
Mm-hmm. A little bit. I don't think he is, but
that's like the Clark Kent syndrome. He's put when he's.
I believe it. Yeah, because if you watch him play, he's really good.
Oh yeah, and he's playing
Superman out there.
Yeah,
take off the glasses, put on the uniform. That's all it takes.
Yeah. He's trying to lure you into a sense of.
He tried to trick me.
Yeah.
Who are the Habs, by the way?
That's
your first bullet point.
It's the nickname for the Montreal Canadiens.
The Habs?
It stands for habituel, I think, or habitants. I can't remember. It was one of the two.
Habitants.
It's a French word.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you guys don't know?
It's short for habitant.
What does that mean?
It's a French word for something.
It's called Debbie Dampierre. She probably knows, right?
Yeah, she probably
Does she
would.
speak French, your wife?
No, not at all.
Really? Oh, that'd be so hot. You're right. It's a nickname. Les Habitants, like you said. And it's the name used to refer to both the French settlers and the inhabitants of French origin who farmed the land along the two shores of the St. Lawrence Gulf and River, which is the present-day province of Quebec in Canada. It was used by the inhabitants themselves, blah, 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 blah. Unwilling to accept subordination to anyone but the governor of New France himself, the inhabitants refused to be called Saint-Cyr, a designation they judged equivalent to paysans, who were the servile peasants in France's feudal system.
So it's a compliment.
It appears to be.
Well, of course it's a compliment. They wouldn't keep it if it wasn't a
That's
compliment.
true.
Yeah,
Go
they have a
Habs,
couple
go.
nicknames. They got a bunch of nicknames. It's kind of interesting too. It says that they've won more Stanley Cups than any other franchise, and they actually predate the NHL.
Yeah.
There's a little history for
They're the
people out there.
Yankees of the NHL.
Are they?
Yeah.
All right.
They're the most storied and beloved franchise.
So it's
probably.
easy to be a fan of them.
Well, they've fallen on some tough times. I mean, they're a better team. I mean, they did very well in the playoffs last year, but they've had their drought. They haven't won since '93. So
Really?
yeah,
That must be hard.
there was a stretch where they had one in every decade. They had won a cup in every decade of existence. At least one cup every 10 years. They had a string going, but they didn't make it in the 2000s. They missed out.
That was the first time?
Yeah, it was the first time. 2000 to 2010, they didn't have a cup.
What a bunch of dickheads.
All right. So
All right, we got off your bullet points a little, Ming, but
That's all right.
we can get back there.
Did you see any negatives in last night's game? I only have one to
Better
point
not
out,
say
and
or
that's
not.
I only have one negative. That's Kovalchuk only one shot on goal. It's a little concerning.
okay, I'm not that concerned. I mean, I felt that he played. You want him to be like to get into the system. So that being in the system means he's got to worry about other things than just getting shots,
Right.
though. So you can't have it both ways. Either he's going to play devil's hockey, or you want him to be that like roamer at the blue line. But then they get on him if he doesn't play devil's kind of grinded out hockey, which they had to play last night to get that win. So I'm not concerned. This guy is going to get shots, and he get shots in his sleep.
All right.
He had that one good scoring chance last
Yeah, he had a
night.
breakaway. He just
Yeah.
missed the net, though, right?
What was the score last night?
3-0.
3-0.
My only negative was probably power play. He didn't score on the 5-on-3.
Yeah,
And
they
didn't
did.
score on any of the power plays.
It's a fucking tough crowd, man. We haven't seen a victory in.
Well, that's
and
really the
then
only
you guys
negative
are
that I
still-
could
Sunday
out of the
Jeff
game.
gives no quarter. He really doesn't.
Jesus Christ, man.
From the very first puck night, he's like, from the very first show, he's like, they're not going to make the playoffs.
4 guys here. We could have one nitpicker. So
I thought that was my job.
all right. Well, all right. So half of us are nitpickers. then.
Ask for negatives. That's the only negative that I saw last night. But other than that, they played excellent game.
Is it
They won.
beyond you to say there were no negatives? In a fucking unblemished
No,
score,
because it's bullshit,
0,
because
3-0, but they shut him out. How many negatives can there be? Kept them off the
There's
board.
always negatives.
On the
There's
road.
always negatives, and that's how you
Oh my
improve
God,
your
there's
team.
always
Half
negatives.
empty, baby, half empty. Not like Ming.
Not like Ming. Like, you need the yin and you need the yang.
All the games are low. What's all the negatives? What's all the positives?
Well, they won, right? I mean,
They won. That's the bottom line. But
All
you
right.
can always take something out of a game and improve on it.
All right, here's
That's what a
something for
coach
you
does.
Sunday, Jeff. Ming's next bullet point: positives and negatives following a 2-4-1 start. You want to go with the negatives? I'm sure that's right up your alley.
Yeah, well, the negatives, I think we all know what the negatives are, but there's a lot of other things.
No. Enlighten us. What are the negatives?
I don't.
From which game? Of this past week? Do you think
No,
we go by the
I'm
Buffalo?
talking about getting off to the
record's
slow,
full.
this slow start. What's the negative to taking such a while to amp up and get started? I mean, falling in a hole early.
I would say the first one I'm going to say is chemistry, because they started off the team with different lines. You had some injuries early in the season. That's a problem. Now they're getting other players.
We're not
back
asking
into
you
line.
why they got off
Okay,
to
well,
the slow
all right.
start. But what's the negatives?
Consistency in playing 60 minutes of hockey. Their second periods have been horrendous.
Right.
Breakdowns defensively, and not playing as physical as they normally would. That's some of the negatives. and not capitalizing on some of the chances.
These are
that they have.
again, these are reasons why they're fucking having a bad start. Not that, like I was
but
thinking
those
more
are
like
negatives.
you're losing a lot of points at home. They haven't had a home victory yet, and you're putting yourself in a big hole to fucking dig yourself out of when you don't have a home win yet, and you're constantly starting the season, trying to overtake other teams. So that's always going to be an issue, I think, until they get above 500 here.
And you're not going to get that crowd coming out to see it, right?
Oh yeah,
Which I saw on Friday. There were a lot of empty seats there.
it was a Colorado game. It's a Western
Does
Conference
Colorado
team.
suck?
No, but it's not a team that like
Not a
gets
sexy
people-
team that you
Yeah.
would come out to,
it's
spend a
not
lot
like
of money
a-
to come out. Not
So
like,
it's not like a huge rivalry that people care about.
Yeah, they really don't play them that much anyway.
No wonder you guys gave me those tickets.
How was the Boston game? Did anybody go to the Boston game?
Ming did.
I did go to the
How was the
Boston
crowd
game.
on Saturday night?
It was light. It was pretty light. I think the announced attendance was maybe 13,000.
It's not good. I seen a lot of people post on some other sites that they were pretty upset with the crowd, and I don't know, man. I really have a hard time getting on people when you talk about the cost of going to a game. It's hard to get in someone's grill and be like, get your fucking ass to a game and spend that money. I mean, it's tough in this economy, and the ticket prices are so expensive. I mean,
Let's forget about the people that don't go. Let's concentrate on the people that do go and fucking stand in your way when you're trying to watch the game. I've never seen so many fucking clueless people walk around with their ticket stub in their hand and fucking stand in front of you as they're playing and you can't even see.
Right.
I mean, it's shocking that I'm there to begin with, but then when I go and I can't even watch them play, it's like, if you're going to go to a game, just sit the fuck down. Sit in your seat as quickly as you can. Don't stand there and laugh and fucking juggle your hot dogs and your fucking sodas and shit.
Yeah,
Right,
here, I
man?
think hockey's the only game where you have 2 intermissions. You've got 2 chances to go to the bathroom and do all that bullshit. Like
Yeah.
not in the middle, not during the action.
Yeah. I got blocked. Some of the action got blocked, man. I couldn't see it.
You got
It was
cock
annoying.
blocked at the, you got ass
A little
blocked.
bit. I got hock blocked. My hockey got blocked.
It was like that the first game. Remember, there's so many people that don't go there. How many people are there to actually watch the game, and how many people are there just like to talk, to do whatever? It's a
whack-a-mole.
lot. To play whack-a-mole.
At least I play whack-a-mole sitting down.
all right. So Puck Nuts are on record as going. They're not happy with people who aren't paying attention 100% of the game.
Or standing in your way.
Not really an issue that I would feel is one that is that important. It's certainly not on our bullet points, but
It's a negative. It's a negative.
All right. So Ming, what are your positives about starting off 2-4-1?
Got a couple of guys who stepped up. Arnott, he does have he's got a minus.
Shit.
At least I'm not the only one.
He's he's got a -7 rating before last night, but he is the leading goal scorer. Taramina has definitely stepped up. He was an unknown last year, unsigned free agent, and I think I heard Lou's son actually signed him, saw something in him, and I'm hopefully he'll keep this up. I know it's only been 7 games, but and you got to keep it going. But I think he probably will.
Yeah. Okay. I think the positives are probably in so much as better to get the slow start out of the way early than to do what the Devils have done for the last 5 years, which is start like balls of fire, and then come April, they just don't have any gas left in the tank. So maybe this year it's a complete 180, and come April they'll be clicking on all cylinders and they'll be a well-oiled machine.
In April, you'll see balls of fire.
Yeah. Can I throw in any more metaphors out there or cliches?
Man, I want to do a documentary about the Devils called Balls of Fire.
Balls of fire.
Are you in?
I'm in.
Okay.
The young kids have been playing pretty good too. The ones that they brought up from Albany. And the other
The
one
ones I've
was
been spying on from my car in the park down the street from my house.
like
Yeah,
said,
despite the mistake, I see I like their energy. I like the energy that they're playing with. Those might be the guys that step it up at the
This is
end.
definitely our stiffest, most stuffiest fucking show ever, man. It's almost brutal.
Well, I'm just throwing out cliches. I'm being honest
really
here.
brutal.
I do like watching them. They are playing like they want to be there.
That
That's a
sound.
rip of defiance.
There it is.
Bullet points are out the window. Well, good. I can bring this up then.
You don't want to call about at least the Rick Rippin? That's a decent one.
Yeah, actually, you know,
let's go to
actually,
Rippin.
you do have a good bullet point, Ming. This will get us.
Do you want to
going.
borrow my bullet points?
Can I borrow those bullet points for a second, Ming? No.
All right, all you guys out there complaining that we're not talking enough about hockey, the NHL, don't blame me. Don't look at me.
What do you mean? Don't blame you.
Don't blame me. I had it all laid out
Put
here.
a lot of effort in it. That's like a letter to like Stan Lee. Look at that letter, though. I mean, he put in a lot of effort. I gotta give him that. I mean, lots of people.
Look to the guys on my left. Look to the guy on my right.
Ming, you put a bullet point on here that I think is a very worthy topic. It has nothing to do with the Devils, but there was a guy from the Vancouver Canucks, Bry, who got a 6-game suspension for Ming puts attacking a Wild fan. Well, actually, a Minnesota Wild fan. He actually.
The fan wasn't wild.
No.
That's what I thought when I read that.
No, he's a fan of the Minnesota Wild organization, and I think the game was in Minnesota, and this player put his hands on the fan's chest and kind of like pushed him. Mm-hmm. The fan also looked like he was about like 16 years old, so it wasn't a good move on this guy's
Did you
part.
see him though? He was like all cowering.
Yeah, I mean, the fan didn't look like he did a thing though. He didn't like throw a beer at him. He was clapping like with a clapping like a 90-year-old woman claps at like Lawrence Welk or something. I mean, it was so lame.
His
The
golf
clap,
clapping. He had to have said something though.
Yeah, but that's his right to say something.
Wait, so the
game.
fan's clapping at the player.
He was getting tossed out of a game.
Oh,
the
he got
Canuck was
thrown
getting
out for something.
thrown out of a
Okay.
game, and this player, I guess he noticed or he picked his head up. Somebody might have said something. I can't believe it was this fan. The way he was clapping so gingerly, it just didn't even look like he was even looking at the player.
It was provoked by something. I don't know if it was a
Oh
comment.
yeah, he had
or,
to have said something, but it might not have been this person who said it though.
It might have been a guy next to him because
Right.
he's the one that looked like he got up out of the seat and started like trying to calm the guy
But
down.
this guy put his hands on this fan, and he received 6 games for putting his hands on a fan. Sunday Jeff, too little or too many games?
In that case, I'd say too many.
Too many?
Too many. I'd say too many.
What if that was like your wife that
He
he
didn't hit
pushed?
the guy.
God. How? What world do you live in that you think that a player can at any point can put his hands on a fan, no matter what that fan does?
Well, the fan shouldn't be allowed to do it either, though, right?
do what? Clap?
What, clap
No,
at your
touch a player or whatever.
Of course not. No.
But
he
what I'm
didn't do
saying,
that,
then you
right?
know what? There should be
No.
glass there so they can't interact with the fans.
They should have like a Playmobil to
Won't
ride
that take
around.
care of the problem?
No, you know what happens when if they put glass there? Then the fans start bitching that their sight lines are messed up.
Then stop bothering the players, and the players stop bothering the
He wasn't really bothering.
Deal with it like you're a class of third graders.
But that's how you fix the problem. Wouldn't that fix the problem? If you put a piece of glass up there to where they can't touch or can't bother anybody, it would fix the problem.
But
They
he,
just-
he didn't touch him though, right? Let me see if I understand this.
Look
the
at
guy
the
was getting
video.
kicked out of the game for some reason,
Right. He
and the fan who was a fan of the other team was clapping and was happy that this guy was getting
right.
kicked out.
He may have said something, and the player looked up and
Who
grabbed him. and
cares
started
what
roughing
the
him
fuck
up.
he may or may not have said? He can
Right.
that when you buy a ticket, you're allowed to scream and get in and
Heckle,
yell
you can
and
heckle.
heckle. That's part of. It's been that way in every sports, in every sport. You get up there, you want your fans passionate, right? Not to the point where they say something like that's really over the line. Now we don't know what was said, but I don't even care what was said. Even if he does go over the line, a player can never touch a fan.
I agree, but I don't think the player should ever be bothered or hampered or touched by a fan as well.
But he wasn't.
How do you
didn't
know? You
touch
didn't see
Wasn't.
that?
He didn't touch him. Did you see it?
I saw part of it, but I don't know if you don't know what happened before that because
I do know what happened before it.
But
They have a circle on the player, the kid who got touched.
Right.
He doesn't do anything. He never throws a beer, never throws anything, or ever makes a move towards that player.
But if you threw a beer, that's okay then. Then the player has every right to go.
No. The player can, no matter if he gets doused with beer, they cannot go in and touch a fan. That fan who threw the beer has to be ejected.
Sure. I agree with that. Was
Rejected and maybe and never be allowed back in if there's a way they can do that. But no matter what happens to a player, he cannot cross that line and go into and touch a fan.
But
That's a catastrophe in the
He
making.
didn't swing on him. He
Says
didn't
that
hit the
fan was
guy, though.
28
I would say half of that. 3 games, I think, would be more than enough for that. For that particular incident.
Personally, when the league is a joke. The league is a friggin' joke. When you suspend a player for words at a pregame skate longer than you suspend a player who touched a fan, that's a joke. You're telling me Avery got an indefinite amount of games suspended. They couldn't even give him a number. They're like, you know what? We're suspending you until we feel you're ready to come back. They wouldn't even give him a number for some comments he made.
Was that the league or Dallas that did that?
No, the league did that.
I thought Dallas didn't address him either, though, for a while.
Do you want to hear the quote from the guy who got touched?
Yeah.
He said, "I was just standing straight up applauding as he was getting kicked out." I'm assuming he's referring to the player.
Right.
Enquist said, that's the fan. He was out of control. And then I said, "Way to be professional." And he obviously didn't care for that comment and decided to grab me and almost dragged me over the rail. If my brother wasn't grabbing me and the other player wasn't grabbing him, he probably would have dragged me over the edge. And not shockingly, he's getting legal representation.
Now, if what he says is true, and that's only his word, who knows what he really said? But let's take him at face value.
Okay.
Way to be professional. Is
Yeah.
that crossing a line for you, Sunday Jeff? That you feel okay? So how many games then? Still only 3 games for when a fan says
if that's true to what he's saying, that he basically didn't say anything and really was basically minding his own business, and that was said to him, and basically just get the guy blow his cap, then 6 games wouldn't be enough.
I thought 20 games. That's what I thought he was going to get. 20 games for going after a fan, especially a fan who looks like he's like 10 years old.
Look like a little guy.
Yeah,
He was. He wasn't a big guy at all.
it was just really an ugly. It could have got even uglier if things spiraled out of control. Especially after that Ron Artest thing in the NBA. Did you ever see that?
Mm-mm.
You
never saw that? How?
I don't watch basketball, so I have no
So
idea.
what?
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That
It was crazy. A brawl in the stands. Just a couple years ago. You would think there'd be zero tolerance in every professional sports league for this.
Yeah, after that was a crazy event.
But I can't stand Sean Avery. I cannot stand the guy. But when you suspend him longer for just some words, that's a joke league. It's a joke league, man. And Batman's an idiot. Ming?
Yeah, I agree. I think 20 is a little harsh. That's 25% of the season, but a automatic 10 game suspension. I think that's warranted. Anytime you assault a fan, whether it be the water bottle, and I think Tortorella did that. Ty Domi many years ago, and that you can't go into the stands. You can't assault spectators.
No.
Was he injured? I mean, was he actually injured, or how much did the league fine him? Or there's no fines
Who are you talking about?
for the guy at Vancouver?
Mm-hmm. I don't know what the fine
It's a
is.
6 game suspension. I think the Canucks got fined automatically $25,000. The team, and he doesn't get he doesn't get
doesn't get
salary.
paid for those
doesn't
6
get paid
games,
for those
so.
6
Well,
games.
the
That's a
player
good
should
chunk.
be fined. I mean, that's
He is getting fined.
Is he a good player?
Nah, he's a 4th line
Scrub.
goon.
Maybe that's why.
He's a goon player. He's
He
just
probably
a
has low
fighter.
self-esteem. You should take it easy on him. Get him some help.
Get who? The player some help?
Yeah, send him to a psychiatrist.
He
feels bad about himself.
No, I don't
anger
think
management class.
that's what they said. That's what they gave Sean Avery, though.
Oh, they sent
You
him
know what I'm talking
psychiatrist?
about when he got suspended?
Sean Avery? No.
He said he was talking about
Elijah
his
Cuthbert.
former girlfriend who is
Yeah.
dating another player now.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess a reporter asked him, "What do you think about your former girlfriend dating such and such, this player?"
I think I vaguely remember. This wasn't that long ago, right?
Yeah, it was last year or 2 years,
years
ago.
ago.
And Avery goes, "That's okay. He can have my sloppy seconds." And that caused him to be now, that is more atrocious and more vile, or not vile. I don't know what the right word is, but this is more
not classy.
egregious a sin to the NHL than a player touching a fan
How long did Avery get suspended for, you said?
indefinitely. So I don't know how long. I mean, he came back. I don't know how many games he actually wound up sitting out, but it's going to be far longer than 6 games.
I don't
That's
think he ever
retarded.
played on Dallas after that. I think that was it.
Dallas's choice to let him go
They-
after that.
They didn't want him playing
But
for the team either.
the fact remains, though, he got way more games than 6 for saying that.
for that comment, and this guy goes after a fan. Who knows what could have happened?
Right. Who knows what could happen? If, the escalation that could have happened from going after that fan, if that fan had done something and other players get involved and other fans get involved. And you got to send a clear message. You cannot tolerate that. But they sent they sent that message though about like, hey, don't say anything bad about a former girlfriend.
That's crazy, man.
It's such a PC fucking world. It's disgusting.
But it's so like, what's the word I'm looking here for? I mean, it's the lack of consistency.
Right.
And
Which
like,
we've been,
it does. It seems like they just like the Devils this year earlier with the
Kovalchuk?
The Kovalchuk
Contract.
thing, like inconsistency, just is rampant through the league. There's never any
the league is built on inconsistency though. It's been that way since I followed the league in the 80s. So I can only imagine in the 70s it wasn't this consistent league. So I would have to say it's probably an inconsistent league since the dawn, since the first puck dropped. It seems like.
Before the time of Lace Habs. Are there any Devils you think that could lose their temper and push a fan, or do you think they're all gentlemen?
I mean,
If you
let's
had to
be
point a
honest. I mean,
finger.
any player on the wrong night, it can happen to.
Mm-hmm.
There's no. I mean, the wrong thing is said. Beer hits you at the worst possible time. You're at a fever pitch anyway. So there's no player that I could ever be like, my Devils would never stoop to that. No, I mean,
Unless you just won
never
the
know.
Stanley Cup, it's probably never a good time for beer to go on you.
Yeah, you wouldn't even notice if a beer hit you. You just won the cup.
they do have a record of drafting and signing people who are kind of pretty much level headed though.
Devils?
That wouldn't snap at a moment's notice. And if they do, they usually get sent down or they get traded.
What about this Kovalchuk character though? Russian? Don't they? Aren't they
crazy
temperamental?
Russian?
Yeah, like bad.
He's not as bad as Ovechkin. Ovechkin, I think, has got a little bit more feist to him than Kovalchuk does. Because you see, Ovechkin doesn't. I mean, neither one of them take any like shit from from any players. But Ovechkin, you can see he's a little bit more feisty when it comes to like hitting people. He's more of like both ends of the ice player. He'll play defense and offense. And that's one of the problems I think with Kovalchuk is Kovalchuk has basically been all offense, and I think he's starting to learn defense now and make him a better player also in the Devil system.
Is he supposed to play defense?
Yeah, I mean, you got to play a little. You got to play a little defense.
He's supposed to, right? But I mean, the times that I've seen him, which have been few, it's like he seems to just sort of hang around.
Yeah,
like when we played basketball,
around,
like people, like there were certain guys who would hang around half court, like they wouldn't come back and really help.
So he's got energy.
He's lazy ass, Kovalchuk.
On defense, a little bit. Yeah, he's been turning the puck over a lot. It's hard to watch. Yeah, it's hard when you watch a player like say Zach Parise. He plays both ends of the ice. He's
skating all over the place.
A great goal scorer, and he'll play great defense.
Ming, tell me what you think about this. Whenever there's a play, and like on the at the game of the jumbotron,
Yeah.
and you see the guys that made the play, like let's say it's Parisi and Elias, for example, and they have like this overly dramatic like it'll be like what's Elias's first name?
Patrick
Elias, and like it's like the football games like on TV. It's like they'll show him like a image of him and he's like looking down, and then real dramatically like he looks up like with this like very stoic, serious look.
Like I'm
going to
kick your ass look.
Yeah, or I don't know. What's with that? Why do sports teams do that crap?
I think when you have a static shot like that, it's the only way to make it dynamic. I mean, what are they supposed to do? Dance? Or I just don't.
That'd be good if they danced.
If they danced around.
Yeah, like if they did like the Macarena or perhaps a moonwalk. Like did a little moonwalk.
Yeah, that would pump me up.
Come out grooving with the Devil Dancers.
Are there? Yeah, they could dance with the Devil Dancers a little bit.
Dancing
Devil
with the
Dancers
devil.
I haven't been happy with lately. There's too much.
Yeah, you told me, I was like looking at them up close. You told me they all look like sixes.
Yeah, I hope they don't listen to Puck Nuts, but if that's the case, I'm just going to pretend I'm Sunday Jeff if I ever meet any of them again. But no, too many 50s inspired dances. A lot of like 50s music and shit like that, and corny like 50s dances. What's that?
You want to put poles up there?
I think so. I think we should poll people actually at the arena. Do you want to see more? Do you want to see the Devil's Dancers doing more Macarena and moonwalking and less 50s style like the what are some 50s dances like the
Like the mashed potato,
the mashed potato, sure, exactly.
like the Bart Simpson, the dance machine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my wife commented that she didn't like their choreography.
I don't think their choreography's great.
Yeah. So what is good about them then?
The Devil's Dancers?
Yeah. Are there any what are the positives and
Let's
negatives?
do the positives. It's not on the bullet point sheet, but we can do the positive and
deviate a
negatives
little
of the
bit.
Devil's Dancers. Well, we like the same one, me and you. Little ginger-haired lass.
The redhead one.
I think she's cute.
All right, we
You like
got-
her too?
Yeah, I think she's.
It's somewhat unanimous.
I think that she's the only one they need. They only need one Devil's Dancer, whoever that redheaded girl is.
That's a lot of dancing.
Little red-haired
That's
girl.
you know what? That's playing 60 minutes if it was just her.
Uh-huh.
That's playing 60. That's playing a full 60 minutes right there.
That'd be rough.
It's funny you said something about that, like in the introduction of the players. Where I think their all heads are down like that. Even on the NHL Network, when they have like I've seen the one Parisi, he just lifts his head up, like everything's always down, and then they look up.
Yeah, and it's so pretentious too because like the players are in black and white, but like their uniforms,
Yeah, red.
yeah, they're like their person is desaturated of color, like it's some fucking indie film directed
It's all about
by
the team,
like Jim
man.
Jarmusch or
It's
something.
not, there's no I in team. It's all about the team.
I don't know.
This show's all about bad cliches. I think I just that was the bottom
That's the
of
final
the
one.
That's the bottom
This
of
is
the
the
well
last
right
episode
there.
of Puck Nuts. You used all the cliches. All right, let's move on without Walter. You know what I'm interested in is this very sort of vague Ming's Big Nut of the Week.
Big nut of the week.
Now, is this about where you brag about some time with your wife? Your biggest nut?
Not exactly. I think that's I'm saving that for another podcast. The big nut of the week
You can
is
hear that on Tell 'em Steve Dave.
Yes.
All right.
Big nut of the week is where I pick one Devils player to highlight. Who I thought did well that week. Trying to keep it on hockey.
It better be Arnott if you know what's good for you. Sunday Jeff.
That was
across the
last
table.
week.
Last week would have been Arnott before he was a -7. This week I could give my big nut to Matt Taramina. He's a rookie defenseman for the Devils. He got his first point.
I keep hearing this name, Taramina.
Yeah, he's playing fantastic right now. Taramina got his first point during the Devils' first win. His first point was the assist to Kovalchuk when they beat the Sabres in overtime last week. And then at the game you were at, the Avs, he scored his first NHL goal.
That was him?
That was him. And he also had his second assist.
I had some fucking asshole standing in front of me.
You didn't see it?
I didn't get to see that.
And last night against Canadians, he had his second goal. So he's doing a good job, this kid.
What are we up to here?
We're
up to
talking
the
about the
big nut.
Ming's big nut. Of
I
the
missed
week.
the big nut of the week.
Yeah.
I'm still going.
Oh man,
I don't know.
I
We
was
didn't know if
looking
you were
forward
coming
to that.
back.
Booty time over there.
Devil's Dancers.
Well, that's what happens, man. You got to.
Ming's yet to read the Stan Lee manifesto that he handed over to us.
That's
So that's
What
your,
is this too? This fantasy team thing, Ming? Walt hates fantasy teams. Is this going to be a problem?
No, I don't think
Fantasy
so
league?
because this is a fantasy team. A Yahoo Sports Fantasy has involved Zach Parisi in a fantasy sports team, just kind of to promote their fantasy sports league. Zach Parisi has put together his own team. Him and Eric Stahl of the Hurricanes.
They're part of the problem, Walt.
has it gotten any less stuffier to show since I left?
No, not at all.
We're having some fun. We're denigrating the Devil's Dancers for a while,
Why?
and then Ming started bragging about busting nuts over the week.
One led to the other.
It sounds like anybody who's going to be listening to this show is going to have their pipe in their hand and their ascot on, going, "Download the Puck Nuts, Lovey."
Thurston,
Time for puck nuts.
Thurston Howell on his coconut radio.
Fuck that Ming
the
Chen
way
fellow.
that logo looks, though. I mean, it's like that old-fashioned logo. The Puck Nut logo. The guy with the monocle.
Oh, on the
Mr. Peanut.
page. On the page.
Oh, right,
Oh,
yeah,
our
yeah.
contest? Our contest ends
No,
next
the
week,
our
right?
official, our contest ends on Halloween. So get your entries in now. We're gonna be picking them. We're gonna be picking them soon.
So is that, are we done?
No, back to the
Oh,
fantasy
no,
league.
all
We're
right.
still talking about
Zach-
fantasy leagues.
You want to do this?
I know he spends half the time up there fucking making money.
Go ahead. All right,
I mean, a lot of
continue.
the players in most professional sports, they say they don't pay attention to the media, they don't care about stats, and they would never ever get involved with fantasy sports. So I thought this was cool that they got a couple of professional players to draft to make their own teams and be involved with the league with a couple of fans, and I believe a couple of sports writers are on this team as well. my question was always if you have a fantasy team, if
Poor
you're
Ming, the guy's constantly walking away.
come on,
Gotta check on the customers, bro.
if you have your own fantasy team, do you draft yourself? Do you
Did Zach
is that
Grayson
arrogant?
draft himself?
He didn't, only because I think he was third in the draft order, and I think I don't have Eric Stahl's here. I believe Eric Stahl was before him, and Eric Stahl took Zach crazy.
Fantasy hockey, fantasy football, fantasy baseball. It's so
Gay.
yeah. I don't know. I know it's a way for people to get involved, but I don't know. To me, it's just like it's just not what sports is about. It's about winning or losing. It's not about stats.
You want to be able to qualify when people are like, hey, we did this and we did that, including themselves as part of the team.
Right.
I don't know about stats, but it's like betting on sports. It makes it a little more exciting. It makes that game, that Colorado versus Phoenix game.
What's the most money you ever won on a sporting event, man?
$400?
Really?
Yeah.
For what?
My brother used to be involved with a bookie when I was in college, and I
Your
won.
brother had a gambling problem?
As far as I know, he still might have that gambling problem.
He's a gambler.
When you say head,
He used to work at a place much like this comic book store. It was a memorabilia, card, and comic book store.
Really? He worked at a
bookie
comic book
store?
store?
He did, and his boss was a very shady character. May have been involved.
are you talking about the stash or are you talking about?
No, back in the day,
Boss
this
is a
was
shady
maybe
character.
it was 15 years ago. He had he had connections with the bookie. And it got me involved for a couple months until I lost those $400 and then some,
You lost it back?
and more. So
See, if Walt would just add some sort of criminal / shady element to the stash, like betting parlor or drugs or maybe even fireworks,
we've
I'd
got-
be much more likely to want to work here.
we run a few card games in here that may or may not be.
And out with those dorks, Gavin.
What's the most money you ever won at a sporting event, Jeff?
Never been on a sporting event.
Ever?
Nope. The most was the one Tampa Bay and the Super Bowl when I was at your house. What was it, $10?
Yeah.
That's the most I ever won when they played Oakland.
No, that's right. That's the most. Wow, I can't believe you've never bet on a sporting
Not a
event?
sporting event. I bet in casinos, but I've never been on a sporting event.
Brian? I don't even imagine, right?
0. Yeah.
You ever bet on anything?
Well, when I was when I played high school basketball, I bet against our team and threw the game. Nope, never.
Wow. Okay.
You?
I won like probably $50, but multiple times. So like with these little football tickets.
Right.
Yeah, I used to do that in the.
Oh yeah,
in
that's
the 80s.
right. Yeah, back in the day, I remember.
Yeah, but I won $50 plenty of times, but that's probably the most I ever won at one time, though.
I remember you got sick, and I picked your teams for you sometimes. I never saw any of that
that
cash
was
either.
different. I
Never
remember
saw any of that money.
I didn't win probably that week.
Nah, you were winning. I'm good at it.
All right. You want to talk about Stan Lee and his association with the NHL?
So your favorite things in life, Walt?
That's
Hockey and comics.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Two things I
I'm
could
just
fucking
not
care less
sure
getting
about.
derailed.
what they're going to do with these creations, though. I mean, is there going to be a comic book, or what is this creation?
Announcing
for?
something no one gives a fuck about.
To me, I am. I'm just like, what are they doing with it? Where are these characters going to be? Are they going to be in a comic book? Are they going to be adopted by the teams from now on to use? I don't know. To me, the whole thing is just like, I guess it'll be pretty cool if they do something with it. But so far, there hasn't been any kind of like.
What the hell is it? Is it a comic book?
We're not really sure. Stanley's doing something.
There's a whole page
in
of information.
It's in association with something called the Guardian Project, and Stanley's going to come up with so-called Guardians characters for each of the 30 NHL.
It sounds like
franchises.
Stanley needs a guardian at this point. Like, is this dude senile? What's he talking about?
No, it's not his fault. It's the NHL.
Oh,
I mean, it's not his fault. It's not clear. He's like, hey, I'm going to create these characters based on your team names. Do with them what you will. And the NHL really isn't saying what they're going to do with them, though.
Again, consistency.
Okay, so he's going to have.
Okay, here we go. We'll include an online presence, mobile applications, publishing, gaming, in-arena broadcast, merchandise, promotional, and sponsorship activities. So, again, nothing real concrete, but everything under the sun, they say they're these.
Here's a bunch of crap that might happen.
Yeah.
Why announce it then? So wait a second. So the Devils, he creates like Super Parisi?
No,
Super
he's going
Kovalchuk?
to
Be
create
like
a
the,
character based off the name, the team name.
The Devils.
I wonder what he'll create for the Devils.
Yeah, I wonder.
Well, all right, that one's easy. As are most of the teams that were named after animals. But what are you going to do? The Maple Leafs. What are you going to do for them? The Canucks.
That's why you're not Stan Lee, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Blackhawks. That might be.
You could do a hawk, an actual hawk.
All right, but not an Indian.
It's black. No, I would doubt he's going to do an Indian.
All right.
Oh, like
It's too-
Black Falcon type character? Black Panther? That kind of guy? Like a black superhero? Are there any black guys on the Blackhawks?
Not that I know of.
No. Blackhawk is an Indian thing. That's why the Chicago Blackhawks are named Blackhawks. It's an Indian taken from an Indian thing.
Oh, it's like an Indian head, right? They're
Their
I
mascot.
really doubt he's going to be creating an Indian centric character for the Blackhawks. I imagine it'll be something maybe with a hawk,
yeah.
or maybe it will be an Indian, maybe like Super Chief or something.
How's
Whatever
that?
is.
That's what Stan Lee's doing now, just putting super in front of different words.
What was that Indian who used to grow big?
Apache Chief,
Apache
right?
Chief. There you go.
St. Louis.
The blues.
Yeah.
I bet you it's something to do with the music. When the guy plays his trumpet, maybe he turns.
Or
into
maybe
a-
they're like depressed and shit. Like they can't get it together to play a game.
So some of them will be a lot better than others.
No, man, it's Stan Lee, man. And he's
Have
going
some
to give you.
faith, man.
He's going to bring something great to the table. But let's see if the NHL does something with it. Let's see if the NHL actually
Goes through it.
promotes it properly. I'll see it when I believe it regarding the NHL.
That's I'm not tuned into the comic world as much as you are, but do you find a lot of Stanley's projects kind of go into the ether?
They fizzle. Wow.
You sound like Sunday Jeff. over
Yeah,
here.
you're crapping all over.
I'm just stating a fact, something
This
I've
was a comic
noticed.
book store.
Stanley just released a new issue that came out this week, a new property called Super Soldier, I think.
Just get out of here, Super. Holy Christ Almighty! He's not even trying anymore. So that's it with the NHL and the Stan Lee, and I just looked it up online. There is one project in the works.
What is it?
It's not very PC though. It's about the Rangers. It says homos on the range and they're eating nuts.
See you next week.
Scott, I'm here to talk about the Smodcast Podcast Network.
There's so many to choose from.
What? People love the so many to choose from. What is that? Who is that guy?
That's the fan in me
Right.
who's so excited
Right.
about all the choices I have. on
Scott
this
Slozier.
podcast.
Because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
sounds kind of slow. There's so many to choose from.
He's probably, he might be a little dense.
Yeah.
He's only excited.
he doesn't have a hell of a lot to say, but what he
Yeah.
says is important.
Yeah.
All right, so it's me and that guy. It's me and Scott Slozier
Okay.
doing Smodcast. Ready?
Okay.
Welcome to Smodcast. I'm Kevin Smith.
There's so many to choose from.
How are you, Scott Slozier?
There's so many to choose from.
How do you decide which dick you want to put in your mouth?
There's so many to choose from.
Trapped. And I prove I'm intellectually superior to Scott Slozier once again. That's the kind of shit you can enjoy on the Smodcast Podcast
Exactly.
Network. People trapping the dim-witted.
Me reduced down to a soft brain person who can only say one thing.
The Smodcast Podcast Network. Go check out all the shows, man. Smodcast, Tell 'em Steve, Dave, Jay and Silent Bob Get Old.
Puck Nuts, Blowhard, Highlands, A Peephole's History, and Hollywood Babylon.
Man, there's just a plethora, as they say. A bunch of shows. How else could one describe it, Scott?
There's so many to choose from.